Hey everybody, Happy New Year. It's Bernie here from Love Your Life Masterclass and welcome to 2017. Yay! I know a lot of people have been messaging me, kind of asking, was I okay? Where have I been over the Christmas period? And I just wanted to say that I was having some me time. I was having some downtime with the family, with my partner who works away from home. So he was home all of this Christmas period. So we were just doing some reconnection and actually just living a bit of a normal life. So I want to know how your Christmas and New Year was. How is everybody doing? Are we glad we're in 2017? It's kind of crept up on us a little bit fast, but I hope everybody's went well. Everybody celebrated, not too many hangovers. I'm glad to say that I didn't. We had a very quiet one, and I am now off the booze for a month to dry myself out. So what is your New Year's resolutions? That's what I want to know today. We are setting intentions for 2017, and I want to know, what are your intentions for 2017? What's your New Year's resolutions? What are you planning to do? What do you want to change? What do you want to do? What do you want to see? What do you want to experience? And because I want to help you get there, okay? So that's what this Facebook Live is about today. We're just going to go straight into it because I have lots to talk about today, because I did try and do a Facebook Live. You may or may not have seen a very short part of it. I think a couple of days ago, midweek kind of time, a Facebook Live wasn't playing ball, and neither was my phone, and all technology just decided to give up on me that day. So I took it as a sign just to give myself a bit of space, and maybe it wasn't the right timing for that, but today is. So I want to know how you're all doing today. For this particular Facebook Live, as I said, I want to talk about how to engage more in our lives, okay? Because this is one of my New Year's resolutions, and I've been listening to an audiobook by Brené Brown, who is a fantastic author, but as a speaker, she is just amazing. If you get a chance to read any of her books, like Daring Greatly or The Power of Vulnerability, they're absolutely fantastic. And really what she talks about is that our society is, we try and move away from being vulnerable. And the reason we do it is because we see it as a weakness. And that's what I want to talk about as this particular Facebook Live, is that vulnerability is your superpower, okay? So when we are being vulnerable, that's when we can actually connect with more people. That's when we can actually do more of what we actually set our intentions for. And that's what I want to connect you with today, okay? So what we're talking about, how to engage more in your life, is really about looking at how we disengage, okay, if that makes sense. So whenever we disengage from our own lives, it really is about how do we not connect? How do we numb ourselves out? How do we tune ourselves out from our lives, especially if we start feeling overwhelmed? Hi, Anne. How do we start feeling overwhelmed? How do we start feeling stressed? That's usually when we start numbing ourselves out. That's when we start disengaging from our lives. So what kind of things am I talking about? Okay, so perfectionism is a real big one that is kind of an epidemic in our society right now. I fall into the perfectionist kind of belief that everything has to be perfect to be right, and that is such a bad mindset to be in, because perfectionism makes us procrastinate. It stops us from getting to where we are, because we're always putting it off, thinking this isn't right, or that isn't right, or I need to get this right. And then that stops us from actually just moving forward, whether we're perfect or not, just moving forward and giving it a go. So perfectionism is a really good one for disengaging from our lives. So if you find that you are getting into a little perfectionist mode and you hear that little voice saying, but this isn't right or that isn't right, just tell it to, well, you can give it the fingers if you want, but just tell it to take a back seat for the minute, that you're going to try it anyway and see what happens. Because what happens to a lot of us is that whenever we put it off, then we start getting into the mindset that it just isn't never the right time. You know, the time isn't right now, and I'll just wait till it is the right time. And as I said, that's all about procrastination and being stuck in perfectionism. And that's a big one. It's a big one for me. I've been working on that a lot this year. And again, if you find that, jot it down, make a few notes today as to what your intentions are and what you don't want to try and fall into at the beginning of January now, and get yourselves into some really good habits. Next one I want to talk about is the numbing out. Okay, I know I fall into this trap so often, especially when I start feeling overwhelmed, especially when I start feeling like there's too many things to be doing. That part of it is that perfection side of things, but also we also numb ourselves out. So we find ourselves in behaviours that make us feel better in our comfort zone, and we put the blinkers on so that we are trying not to sort of think about what we're doing right now. Okay, so how do we numb ourselves out? Facebook is a great one. So when you're scrolling your news feeds and you're watching all the funny dog and cat videos and all those kind of things, guilty. And I'm sure there's many of you that are the same, is that is one way of numbing ourselves out. Because if you actually think to yourself, okay, what am I avoiding if I've spent the last 2 hours scrolling through Facebook? Then that should be more about where you need to look at what is kind of overwhelming you or what is stopping you from doing what you're meant to be doing. Gaming is another one. So Candy Crush, bingo, all those kind of gaming sites, gaming apps, all those kind of things. They are ways of getting out of your head and out of your life and numbing out. TV. Box set binging. Oh my gosh, how many of us did that over the Christmas period? But that's okay when you're wanting to do downtime and you actually don't have anything to do. But what happens when you actually know you have a lot of stuff to do? Is your go-to to have a duvet day and get the box sets up and just start watching everything from beginning to end? And then at the end of the day, you're thinking, shit, I really wasted that day. I should have done more with that day. Have to say, guilty there as well. Okay, what about medication? Drinking, alcohol, smoking, any kind of over-the-counter medication, all that is a way of numbing ourselves out from our lives. What about diet and exercise? Yes, there is balance is what we want for everything, but when we find that we're going to excess in regards to our diets, whether we're going to extremes when it comes to our diet or exercises, start asking yourself, am I trying to avoid something by facing by doing more of these things? Hi, Ina. Lovely to see you. Happy New Year. The other thing, obviously, social media has really been one of those things in the last sort of 5-6 years that we really find ourselves, we're always checking our phones. We're always posting things on Facebook and on Instagram and things like that. And that's great if you want to keep people up to date, especially friends and family or whatever. But if you find that you're constantly posting things on Facebook and Instagram, because you feel there's an actual need in you that you need to be getting all those things up to show how perfect your life is, that's another way that we can find ourselves getting stuck in that perfectionist and numbing mode, if that makes sense. So one of the other things that came up when I was listening to Brené Brown, and I have to say, if you get a chance to listen to her or watch her TED Talks on YouTube, she is absolutely fantastic and really, really, really funny kind of lady. But she, all her stuff is researched in facts, and it really is, some of it is quite scary because it's a lot of stuff we don't like to talk about. So we don't like to talk about vulnerability. We don't like to talk about shame, because when we're in shame, this is when we normally do these kind of things. We normally go into perfection mode, or we normally numb ourselves out, or the other thing that she talks about is squandering joy. So when she's talking about squandering joy, and again, hand up, guilty of this, is that when she's talking about squandering joy, is that you're in this moment of bliss. You're in this moment of joy. So for instance, over Christmas, say you're surrounded by all your friends and family and you're having a fantastic time, and instead of just sitting there and enjoying it and being really grateful for that particular moment that you have all these wonderful people surrounding you, you think about what could take this moment away from me. She calls it catastrophizing, and I have to say, I was a big one. This was one of the things for me. Hi, Siobhan! Happy New Year to you and your gorgeous family. And I have to say, I was one of these people who catastrophized a lot in my life, because what she talks about is that we aren't built for being traumatized. And a lot of the things we watch, a lot of CSI and NCIS and, all these like Walking Dead and things where you see dead bodies or you see people being shot and you see all these things, our brains aren't set up to kind of deal with this kind of thing. So whenever we are in moments of joy, our brain automatically goes into this kind of, into this way of thinking, this moment might be good now, but this is what could happen. And I remember, thinking, I was actually leaving the house one day and I was driving, I think I was going into town, and actually one of the things I thought as I was driving out of my road, because my road at that particular time, I think it was the time of year where it was very kind of wet, and this time of year where you get sort of flooded parts and things like that. And I remember the images flashing in my head that I was going to have a car crash, and I just thought, Jesus, that was a little bit extreme, and even for me, I actually the whole thing just came into my head, and I thought, this is actually a really nice day. Why am I thinking about something like this? And this is the reason why. This is what she talks about, is that our brains aren't used to seeing those kind of things, so they file them away. And whenever we have moments of good times or, joy or bliss, or we're just really enjoying ourselves, is that our brains can go into this catastrophe kind of zone of just scenarioing all this kind of stuff that could happen to you, and it is just absolutely crazy. And this is the way our brains work. It is just absolutely mad. So again, it's something to be aware of. The reason why we're talking about this is that if you want to change your life, if you want to have happier life, if you want to play bigger, if you want to do more, is that you have to be aware of your own behaviours and also be aware of what goes on in here, because this little monkey mind, it's cray cray in there. It really, really is. So ladies, I want to hear from you. I want to hear what your intentions, what your New Year's resolutions, what do you want to do this year? Write a little comment in there and post. If this is making sense, give me a thumbs up or give me a bit of love as to this is making sense to you guys. I think everything's going okay. Facebook hasn't told me that I'm out of here yet, so that's always a good sign. Okay, so what I do want to talk about, thanks guys. So what I do want to talk about is setting intentions and manifesting what you want for 2017, because there are steps. If you have come across the likes of The Secret or what else, there's lots of ones for there's another book that I found really, really great, and I'm trying to remember, it'll come back to me in a second. Basically what we're talking about is that what you think about, you can create, okay? And I have done this for a number of years. I have been highly successful in some ways, and other ways I kind of thought to myself, well, this doesn't work. And again, this is to do with the way that our brains try and kind of trick us out of thinking that, the world is a bad and horrible place, rather than you can create anything that you want, okay? So there are steps to manifesting anything that you want in your life, and it really is about the power of intention. So get a notebook, get a pen. I want you to write down these steps, and I also want you, after this Facebook Live is finished, to jot down in the comments box what your intentions are, and we are going to set some intentions and manifest for 2017. Perfect time, New Year's Day, why not? Okay, so I'm going to get you to write down the 5 things that you want to experience in 2017, okay? So this isn't about setting goals as to how much money you want to make or where exactly in the world you want to travel. This is actually about what they call life goals rather than specific goals, okay? Excuse me. Because what we tend to find is that we want to experience something. We're more connected to how we feel rather than actually, like, you know, if you were to say, I want to make 10 grand in the next 2 months, do you know what that will make you feel like, or what that will set you up with? If you don't know what that's going to do, then you can't be connected to that goal on an emotional level. And that's what manifesting is all about. It's about connecting emotionally, because that's where the power of our intentions come from. It's about emotionally, thingy's coming off here, sorry. It's about emotionally connecting with your goals, okay? So if you can't emotionally connect with your goals, it's probably the reason why you haven't reached some of the goals that you have set in the previous years. So when we're talking about, say, losing weight, or when we're talking about, what else? So if you're talking about losing weight, if you're talking about making more money, if you're talking about getting fitter, whatever those goals are, if you can't go into more detail as to what that will bring to your life, how that will make you feel, and how you will feel better for it in the long run, then you won't reach those goals, because you can't connect emotionally as to how they'll feel. They are just basically words on a page or thoughts in your head, and you can't connect to them. So that's a big one, is to write down 5 things that you actually want to experience feeling wise, emotionally. What do you want to experience in 2017? Okay. So that could be more love. That could be more gratitude. It could be more joy. It could be traveling to places so you experience certain things that you want to experience. It could be meeting new people. What do you want those people to bring into your life? Does that make sense, guys? I want you to connect with this in a really deeper level, because this is really the secret to how you set intentions, and how you get to them is actually imagining and visioning those things actually coming into your life, because you're connected from your heart rather than connected from up here. So the next part is get detailed. Get detailed into every single, take yourself out for 5 or 10 minutes when it comes to intention setting, and for those 5 things, the 5 experiences we're talking about, set 5 or 10 minutes aside and actually go into detail as to what those things will bring into your life. How you will feel, what you will experience. As I said, if it's going to be more love, what's that person going to bring to you? Are you going to feel better for it? Are you going to feel more emotionally balanced? Are you going to feel more confident? Are you going to have more self-worth? This is what I'm talking about, is go deeper into the feelings of what are those experiences going to bring to you, okay? Then the next step, number 3, is to start feeling gratitude now for those things, okay? So I've talked a lot over the last couple of months and in my other programs about gratitude, how important it is to our own self-esteem and our own self-confidence, but it's also it's an important ingredient in setting intentions and manifesting the life that you want, okay? So whenever you feel gratitude, it raises your vibration. So when we're talking about raising vibrations, is that when we're in low emotional states, what you do basically is it's like attract like, okay? So if you're in a bad emotional state and you're angry or you're annoyed at people, then that's the experiences you're going to keep drawing towards yourself. If you're in a good mood, if you're in a positive mood, if you're in a high vibrational mood, then those are the experiences that the universe is going to send you to keep experiencing, because that's what you're being grateful for, that's what you're being aware of, that's what you're focusing your energy on. I hope this makes sense. Give me some thumbs up if that's still making sense to you guys. I want to make sure you're still on the line and that you still hear me. And the next step then is about believing, okay? So you have to believe it's already there. If you believe that it's already there, then think of it like a parallel universe. This is how I think about it. So if you think, for instance, that you want to be fitter, you want to have a fitter body, you want to feel better, you want to be able to walk a certain distance or whatever that is, and you get connected to the feelings of why you want those things, then all you have to start believing is that that body is already there waiting for you. It really is a matter of you magnetizing that to yourself, okay? So what I mean by that is you have to start taking steps towards that. You can't say, I want a fit body, but I'm going to sit on the couch for 10 hours a day. Because there's no way the universe is ever going to be able to work that out for you. But if you start imagining that body's already there, and you can already envision what you will look like when you have that body, or when you have that money, or whatever it is that you're connecting to with your intentions, that the person, the place, whatever it is that's going to bring those amazing feelings to you, and you start taking steps towards it. So whether it's you start going for a walk every morning, or whether you start going to the gym every day, or whether you start looking online at where you're going to travel, how much it's going to cost, you start looking at all those things that will start bringing that energy and that vibration closer to you. Okay, I hope that's making sense to you. Hi, Estelle, I missed you too. Thank you, Estelle. To be honest, I've laughed so much over this last week that I think I had to give myself a break from it because I was getting a sore throat. I've just had so much fun over the last couple of days. Back to reality, but my reality is just as fun as the time off anyway, so that's all good for me. So quickly go back over the intention setting, guys. If you want to set some really good intentions this year that is really you can connect with, pick 5 things you want to experience this year. So that's connected to your heart. What do you actually want to experience? Is it going to somewhere that's going to take your breath away? Is it going to be meeting somebody who takes your breath away? This is all about connecting from your emotional state and from your heart. Then it's about getting detail. Go really into the finer details of what you imagine this experience to bring into your life, because that's going to really connect you, laser point you, connect into that intention. Then we're going to talk about gratitude. So how grateful are you going to be, and how grateful are you already for those experiences that you're going to have in 2017? They're here already. They're already waiting for you. They're just sitting in the ether waiting for you. And then you have to believe that they're already here and take action steps towards them. So if you want to actually do some intention setting with me over the next week, I am setting up 20-minute intention setting calls for the next week. So from Tuesday right through to next Saturday, I'm going to be doing intention setting calls with all my clients, and anybody else who wants to do this, who's watching this Facebook Live, private message me. And just say, I want to do an intention setting call with you, Barney. We'll set up a time and a day that suits us both. And I want to make 2017 your best year ever. Okay, so Estelle, Siobhan, I know you two guys are still on the line. Let me know what you want to do for 2017. Have you got any big goals in particular that you want to share with us right now that we want to get some intention set out there? As I said, I already posted today what 2 of my intentions are, and that is to be more present in my life and be more vulnerable in my relationships, because I know that those 2 things are going to bring more experiences into my life and connect me more and let me live a more wholehearted life. And as I said, if there's anything that you want to actually share out there, guys, post down below. Set your intentions this week now. And if you do want an intention setting call with me, and we can really fine focus your intention setting, how we do the steps towards it, and you'll see even within 6 months how many you'll have already cracked at this stage, because I've done this in a number of years, and each year I surprise myself with how many that I end up doing and kind of thinking, whoa, that was, that's just totally amazing. So I want to share that with you this year. We're on January the 1st. There's no time like the present. Private message me. Let me know what you want to do with your intentions, where you want to go, what do you want to do, what do you want to see, what do you want to feel more of in 2017. And I will chat to you. I'm going to do another Facebook Live on Thursday, guys. Back to the Mondays and Thursdays after that. Thank you so much. Have a fabulous new year. If you're still recovering with a hangover, watch this later and then private message me tomorrow. when the head gets a little bit more clearer. And I'll talk to you guys on Thursday, or I'll be talking to you in private when you private message me. Talk to you later, guys. Happy New Year. Bye.